Times are tough right now.
And we've still got a long road ahead.
But if we all buckle in,
put our pedals to the metal,
and do our part,
We will get through this stronger.
And when the world is back on track,
you know we'll be seeing you back at the track.
Your body is a machine.
Protect it.
protect others.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the virtual Kokomo Speedway in Kokomo, Indiana, which plays host to the first ever AMSOIL USAC iRacing Challenge presented by NOS Energy Drink. We've seen the NASCAR guys and the World of Outlaws have their own invitational style iRacing events, but tonight things are a little bit different here at Kokomo. Sure, we've got the current and former full-time national midget and national sprint car drivers, but what's different about this invitational is the other half of the field. We've got 25 of iRacing's best sim racers who competed in the 2019 USAC Sprint Car World Championship on iRacing.com, and they will go wheel to wheel with their real-world counterparts. We are so glad you could join us on this Thursday evening on FlowRacing.com and the iRacing Esports Network. My name is Chase Rodman, announcer for the USAC CRA Sprint Cars and the USAC Western State Midgets, and I'm joined by a guy that has a whole list of accomplishments both on and off the track, but I think the one that describes him best for this particular event here tonight is he is the current track record holder at the Kokomo Speedway with the USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midget Series in real life. It's Dylan Welch. Dylan, great to have you here tonight, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Chase. I'm excited to be here, excited for this event. It's with all the hype and everything else that these other events have delivered. I'm super excited to watch these USAC stars go at it tonight, but also excited to watch them deal with the pros on the sim here and see how they stack up against the guys that really know how to get around this iRacing Kokomo Speedway.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting to see how the real-world guys stack up against the sim racers. So we get a look at our event format here tonight. 2 laps on the clock in qualifying, which will be started here in just a few minutes. We'll have 10-lap heat race. Should be around 5 or 6 heats. We'll still wait to determine that. 3 to transfer out of the heat races straight to the feature. We'll have an 18-lap C main, where the top 3 out of that will transfer as well. Then off to a 24-lap B main. The top 6 out of the B will move on to the feature event, which will be 40 laps with 24 cars. And tonight, Dylan, we will not have any caution laps, or any cautions, I should say, in the heat races or the C or the B main. There will be no cautions until the feature, and the caution laps will count in the feature event. But 40 laps, and I was told we've got 5 attempts at a green-white checkered, so we will definitely see this thing in under green more than likely here tonight.
Yeah, plenty of opportunity to make sure that we do finish under green, no matter how antsy and excited these guys get coming down to the checkered. So we could have multiple crashes coming to the finish, but also multiple attempts to make sure we get it right and deliver the best finish we can.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some incidents tonight as some of these drivers just recently getting on the iRacing sim. One that I can think of right off the top of my head is Justin Grant, who has been trying to turn some laps. He gave us a little overview of his rig earlier on Facebook and Twitter this week on the iRacing, or sorry, not the iRacing, but the USAC Racing social media pages. And Grant, I know he's very excited to be here with his NOS Energy Drink ride. And that's one of the cool things about iRacing, Dylan, is all these guys have their cars that they run in real life. They've got the exact replicas here on the sim. With Tanner Thorson's a guy that I'm watching right now on the racetrack. He's got his oil fire whiskey paint scheme out there. It's pretty cool to see that kind of thing out here.
Yeah, that's going to make it easier for the USAC fans to identify their favorite driver, because as you mentioned, they do look like the real race cars. So that's going to make it easier for them, hopefully make it easy for us to spot those guys too out on the racetrack. But yeah, it's really been neat to watch the USAC guys, the USAC regulars, tweet about their rigs and their excitement level. And I think as we talked about earlier, we've seen how big and how successful the World of Outlaws races have been. And midgets at Kokomo, it doesn't get much better than that in person. So excited to watch it on iRacing tonight. Excited for these guys to put on a show.
Now, who are some of the drivers that we're going to be seeing out here tonight? We mentioned we do have a lot of the USAC Racing regulars. We've got Chris Wyndham here tonight. We've got Zeb Wise. We've got Western State Midget Champion Michael Facino's in the field. Chase Johnson, a winner with the wings on, with the wings off, and a midget last year. He's won just about everything he entered last year. Christopher Bell's here. Tanner Thorson, we mentioned him as well. Mario Klauser. Who else we got in the field tonight? Jason Persley, Anton Hernandez. We've got Shane Neal in the field. Logan Seavey, Kyle Larson, Michael Kofoid, and the list goes on and on, Dylan. This is a star-studded field here tonight.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and you mentioned Shane Neal. Obviously, for people that don't know, he was paralyzed in a Silver Crown accident at Terre Haute about 10 years ago, and is using a wheel that basically has two rings around it, one for the throttle and one for the brake. So with the inability to use his legs, it's awesome that he's still able to compete. And I know he's jacked up about it. He's been tweeting as much as anybody about how excited he is to be able to go back and race with these guys. So it's going to be fun. It really is a great field. And, the USAC guys, I don't think we can make this point enough. They're going to have their hands full with the drivers who play this sim regularly because there are some differences. It's not quite the same as the real thing. Here on the sim, it's very close, and iRacing obviously has done a great job to make it as real as possible, but there are some differences that maybe would lend an advantage to the guys who play the sim a little bit more. So it's going to be interesting to just watch the guys who do have the real laps around here, how they stack up and how they adapt over the course of the night to keep up with the sim regulars.
And trying to keep the playing field a little bit more even. All of these drivers tonight, Dylan, are on the same setup. It's a fixed setup. I'm not really sure who put it together, but everyone will have the same shock package, the same tire pressures, the same everything here tonight as you are watching a couple of these drivers make their qualifying runs right now. And Dylan mentioned it right there. They're going to have their hands full, these real-world drivers, with some of the sim guys. And right now, at the top of the speed charts is Brennan Rodgers, who's, he's got some real-world experience, but, working for Loud Pedal Productions. He's now working for FlowRacing.com as the main camera guy, one of the main stream operators out on the West Coast. He's currently quick time. We've got guys like Joel Berkeley, Alex Bergeron, Trey Schmidt, Logan Rumsey, and many, many others, including the champion of the USAC World Championship Series on iRacing.com last year. That's David Heileman, the Heilemaniac we call him. He's got a lot of fans on the sim. He does not turn in a very good qualifying lap, but there's a lot of good sim racers, and we're going to see them shine here tonight against some of the best drivers in the country as qualifying is wrapped up. Top 5 in qualifying: Brennan Rodgers, Chase Cabre, Alex Bergeron, Joel Berkeley, and Zeb Wise will end up inside the top 5. This first heat race getting rolled onto the racetrack now. It's going to be Brennan Rodgers on the pole. The lineups tonight are straight up out of the qualifying, the line straight up out of the heat races. So we do have 6 heat races tonight. It was just confirmed that behind the scenes here. So Rodgers on the front row with Trey Schmidt to his outside. Then we have Carter Sarf and Sunshine Tyler Courtney out of Indianapolis, Indiana, outside row number 2. Row 3, a couple more real-world drivers, Ryan Bernal and Michael Kofoid in row 3. Row number 4 will be Vinny Sansone and Cannon McIntosh. And your final row will be Chase Johnson and Glenn Reinhardt, who will round out the field here, Dylan. So we're just about ready to get going here for this first heat race. I'm telling you, you'll realize towards the end of the night, Dylan, that these heat races and the B-mains and everything, we go through a program here on iRacing very, very quickly.
Yeah, and that's good because we want to get to the feature, but these heat races obviously super important to set yourself up for a good starting spot in the feature. And nice mix here in this first heat race of real-life racers and sim guys like Brennan Rodgers, who, as you mentioned, a lot of laps here on iRacing, so he's going to be tough all night and starts on the pole here in Heat 1.
Yeah, top 3 will transfer out of these 10-lap heat races, and we'll see who will get the job done here. Brennan Rodgers driving for Tops Up Here Bud Quality Threads tonight in that number 20 car. He'll jump out front and run the bottom here in turn number 1. And Dylan, one of the cool things here on the sim, this racetrack looks pretty hooked up right now, but the guys at iRacing have done a fantastic job making this racetrack change throughout the night. And you will see these guys will be they'll be putting the bottom here for the first couple heat races, but by the time heat race 4, 5, and 6 rolls out, you'll be starting to see some slick spots develop and more guys moving up the racetrack towards the wall here.
Yeah, as always, Heat Race 1, the track the most hooked up, and a good battle going on right now for that second spot. Carter Sarf in the 24 to the inside, and Trey Schmidt there in that white car falls back to the third spot as they all continue to chase Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, Rodgers has pulled out to about a half straightaway lead now. As look at the 08 car, Cannon McIntosh coming to life. He's pulling up the back bumper of Trey Schmidt for the third spot. That's the battle for the final transfer now. Oh, McIntosh absolutely nailed the bottom right there. He'll pull up next to Trey Schmidt down to turn one, almost makes contact side by side for that third spot.
And interesting, I thought Cannon doesn't have any real life laps here at Kokomo. He's obviously had so much success in the midget the last couple seasons, but no real laps here at Kokomo in real life. So doing a nice job here on the sim, advancing into that third spot right now.
Yeah, and McIntosh, another one of those drivers that gave us a kind of an overview of his sim rig earlier on the USAC Racing social media pages earlier on this evening. We've got 7 laps in and 3 to go here. McIntosh still with the third spot, but Trey Schmidt sticking right there with him, keeping him honest. He looks to the inside, but McIntosh will dive it off the corner and block the run from the 22 car. Trey Schmidt, Vinny Sansone runs in 5th, and then Michael Kofoid right now in the 6th spot. So Rodgers is really making a statement early on in this heat race, Dylan. He's pulled out to almost a straightaway advantage here.
Yeah, and you can see that the bottom really is hooked up right now. Everybody running right around the infield tires here, and a good little 3-car battle again heating up here as McIntosh running in that third spot. Starts to close on Carter Sarf. He looks a little bit better, but gets a little over-rotated there in the middle of 3 and 4.
Yeah, and the white flag's out for Brendan Rodgers, the Camarillo, California driver, coming through turns 3 and 4. Right around those infield tires, wheels up for Rodgers across the line. How about that right there, ladies and gentlemen? A fantastic way to cross the line there for Rodgers. Put on a show for the virtual fans in the stands here tonight at Kokomo. Great finish to that one for Rodgers, as Carter Sarf will come home in the 2nd spot. 3rd is Cannon McIntosh. Those 3 will punch their ticket into tonight's 40-lap feature event with Trey Schmidt in 4th, Vinny Sansone 5th, Michael Kofoid, Chase Johnson, Ryan Bernal, and Tyler Courtney will end up in 9th. So a couple of real-world drivers having some problems there in that first heat race, Dylan, finishing at the back half of the field there.
Look, and it just goes to show you that this is not easy. No matter how many laps you actually have around this racetrack, it's hard on the sim. So interesting to watch how the next couple heat races develop as the track continues to widen out. Expect some guys to be able to maybe advance forward from the back, but tough in that first heat race. If you start at the back, the track's pretty hooked up, so tough sometimes to be able to move forward.
Definitely on the pole this next heat race, the 47 car, a usual with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Pro Series here on iRacing.com. It's Chase Cabre out of North Carolina. On the outside of him, it's the 41 from Pennsylvania. That's Logan Rumsey. Row 2 inside, this is a familiar name, and he's had some sim, accomplishments here in the last couple of weeks or so. The 19 car for Ryan Bold Underwood Racing, it's going to be the 19 car of Logan Seavey. Outside him, the 06 of Rylan Gray. Row 3, the 97 car, former national midget champion, that's Spencer Baston. And on his outside, the 26 car tonight, driven by Kevin Thomas Jr. Row 4 inside, the 46 of Corbin Haslett. And on the outside of him, that's the Speedwagon, the 51 car of Mario Klauser. And your final start of the 61 car, a winner of 2 national midget features this year in real life. That's Tanner Thorson going to have his hands full coming from the back of the field here in this one there, Dylan.
Yeah, good heat race here lined up as the pace car pulls off. A lot of stars coming from the back, so this one's going to be fun to see if these boys up front can hang on.
Green flag is in the air, and Chase Cabre is on the throttle on his outside, the 41 car of Logan Rumsey. And look at the battle already for the third spot. 3 wide down the backstretch as Logan Seavey to the inside of the 06 car of Rylan Gray. And I kind of made a mistake earlier. Seavey tonight actually driving for the Tops Up Earbud Quality Threads guys tonight. So the Tub number 19 car trying to make his way into the third spot, but here comes Baston. A couple of national midget champions going at it for third, Dylan.
Yeah, Baston just rolling the bottom here, letting Seavey and these guys battle it out. He muscles Seavey up out of the way, and Baston will go into third spot as Rylan Gray dive bombs it in there. Contact, and Baston goes around in turn 2.
And a big benefactor out of that one's Tanner Thorson. He slips by on the outside, and Thorson goes by 3 cars. He's up to P4 now, the 19. 1 spot out of the feature. But talking to Tanner a little bit earlier on, we were doing some practice here at Kokomo on iRacing, which is a great thing that you can do on the sim, is you can run laps whenever you want. Tanner did not seem too confident in himself, but now running in 4th and has a good start, good spot at possibly starting up front in one of those B main events, or the B main event tonight, which will take the top 6 to the feature. But the top 3 guys pretty checked out here in this one. It's Chase Cabre, Logan Rumsey, and Logan Seavey.
Well, and going back to Thorson, obviously it's always nice if you can just advance a few spots in your heat race here to give yourself a better opportunity later on in the night. So in the right place at the right time, able to capitalize on that little gaggle in the scrum there off of turn number 2, and Now he's in fourth, but still one spot out looking in as CV holds on to that third spot.
Yep, coming out this time on the front straightaway, the 39 car. Chase Cabre will come across the line, see 2 laps to go. Logan Rumsey about 5 car lengths behind him, and another 5 car lengths back to the 19 car of Logan Seavey. As we mentioned, Tanner Thorson 4th, Kevin Thomas Jr. 5th, and there goes a pass for the 6th spot as Corbin Haslett makes it by Spencer Baston, who took a little detour through the infield off turn number 2. Next time by, the white flag in the air for Chase Cabre.
Yeah, and he's looked really smooth again, just right around the bottom here. So this up front starting spot proving to be very valuable here, as both of our heat race winners thus far, if Cabre's able to hang on here, have started on the front row.
He's going to come through 3 and 4, and he'll see the checkered flag this time by. Chase Cabre will pick up the win here in heat race number 2, followed by Logan Rumsey, Logan Seavey. Those 3 drivers will head off to tonight's feature event with Tanner Thorson and Kevin Thomas Jr. rounding out the top 5. Corbin Haslett, Spencer Baston, and then we had Rylan Gray, Mario Klauser rounding out the field there. And I think I want to reiterate this one more time. No cautions here in the heat races or the C or the B main tonight, Dylan. Just trying to, with the caution laps counting, if we do have 1 yellow, about half the race will be taken out under caution. So no cautions. So that's going to be making these guys have a little bit more pressure on them here to perform and not make any mistakes here.
Yeah, no mulligans, no second chance if you do get bottled up there like we saw Baston. Normally in a circumstance like that, obviously he'd be able to go to the back and try and advance back forward. But you get turned around or out of shape just in the slightest in these heat races with no yellows, it pretty much eliminates any shot you have of transferring through the heat races, especially with them only taking the top 3. So very important here to have a nice clean heat race, advance and pick off as many spots as you can.
Yeah, here we go. Heat race number 3 is on the racetrack, already gridded up and making their way on the pace laps. And on the pole, this one's going to be number 12 car of Alex Bergeron, one of the most decorated sim racers on dirt that we've ever seen. Outside him is Anton Hernandez. Row number 2, Andrew Laser, and the defending USAC Drivers World Championship champion there on iRacing.com. That's David Heileman in the 49. Row 3, Adam Elby, and on the outside of him is Ronnie Werdeman. And then it's going to be Thomas Meserol, Rusty Kruger, and Bryce Dews alongside Brandon Marin. The final row, we're looking for the green flag here off of turn number 4, and Alex Bergeron's on the gas. Good start for him, and a good start behind him for Andrew Laser, who looks to the inside of, it looks like Anton Hernandez. Lots of contact. They're trying to go 4 wide off turn number 2, Dylan.
And Adam Elby, the benefactor of that, he jumps to the inside, goes by 2 cars, goes to the 2nd spot as he tries to track down now the race leader as they work into 1.
Interesting stat here, Dylan. The 12 and the 74, the 1st and 2nd place drivers. One of 3 drivers on iRacing.com last year to be in all 3 World Championships. That's the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink wing sprint cars, the non-wing sprint cars for USAC, and the late models for the World of Outlaws as well. There are only 3 drivers that did it, and 2 of them are leading this heat race here.
And I'm watching the guy in 4th, Andrew Laser. He's the first one that I've seen really go up there and try the top. He's 1 spot out of the transfer, so he's got to make something happen. The top 3 are on the bottom. He's maintaining, not really gaining too much ground, but also fending off Ronnie Werdeman, who runs in that 5th spot. So keep your eye on Laser in that 82.
We've got a car parked in the middle of the racetrack right there. Just one of the things here on iRacing.com, one of the many funny things you'll probably see here tonight. And obviously having a lot of fun here tonight. This isn't a completely serious deal, but there is some serious money up for grabs. $500 to win, $300 for 2nd, and $100 for 3rd. Not a bad payout if you're able to be in the top 3 tonight, Dylan.
Yeah, shoot, I would take $500 to run an iRace, no doubt about that. So it puts a little bit of extra emphasis and desire on it. It's not just for fun, it's really for money, and especially now with nobody really racing in real life, an extra $500 goes a long way for these guys.
Absolutely. Good battle for the 4th spot between Ronnie Werdeman on the bottom and Andrew Laser on the top side. 2 laps to go that time by for your race leader, Alex Bergeron, who's been pretty smooth this entire race. Laser back around Werdeman for the 4th position. And here comes David Heileman trying to get a 3-car battle for 4th. Oh, contact between Werdeman and Heileman. They hang on to it as it looks like the white flag's in the air for, 1 to go for Alex Bergeron.
Yeah, he's working his way out of turn number 4, and smooth sailing so far for Bergeron as he leads once again into turn 1.
Yeah, Bergeron coming around this time by down the backstretch one more time in the Team ABR number 12 car. And looks like he will pick up the heat race number 3 win over Adam Elby. And then Anton Hernandez will end up in the 3rd spot. Andrew Laser 4th. And a big wreck coming across the line as David Heileman gets sent head onto the wall by Ronnie Werdeman. Werdeman will end up in 5th. Rusty Kruger 6th. Bryce Dews. And then I believe Timez will end up in the 8th spot. Thomas Meserol. And then David Heileman and Brandon Marin will round out the 10-car field there. there. So as you can see here, with all these guys running the bottom of the racetrack, there is starting to be some slick spots developing down there, and you can see all the marbles getting thrown up into the middle of the racetrack here, Dylan. This track's starting to change quite a bit here coming into heat race number 4.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, you saw Laser there try and go up and run the top just to do something different, but it's hard when you're the only guy up there because the marbles, you really can see it, and like the real-life Kokomo, it's hard to run up there when nobody else is up there with you. It's hard to just get it cleaned off enough to be able to make speed, especially when the bottom is still fast. So hopefully some more guys are a little more adventurous and try and get up there, but for now the bottom's still been really strong, and the O'Connors have Kokomo in really good shape right now, and we'll see how it continues to widen out over the course of the night.
Yeah, and you know, one of the funny things is about here on iRacing, Dylan, you and I are both inside this race server right now, and Carter Sarf just typed in the chat, he can't stop shaking, he's so nervous. I mean, this deal is no joke. I mean, these guys, some of these guys tell me they get more nervous running an iRacing deal than they do in real life. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard concept to understand, but I get it, you know, and you go run one of these races, and I don't know what it is, but you get done and your palms are sweaty and you are shaking, and there's just something about being in this sim that makes it feel that real and makes it that much more exciting when we get to watch it. Yeah, here we go. The pace car is off for heat race number 4. It's going to be Joel Berkeley and Blade Kearns, otherwise known as Brock Landers, on the outside of the front row. Green flag is out, and it's going to be Joel Berkeley leading the field down into turn 1. That driver all the way from Australia here tonight at Kokomo Speedway. Little contact for second, sends Blade Kearns out of the way, and Austin Semmelman moves into second spot, followed by Christopher Bell, the 16 car, making his way to the front of the field here, Dylan. Yeah, here's C-Bell, won the World of Outlaws race last night on FS1, so back in the midget here, trying to make something happen as he works towards the front, running in that bottom groove off the exit of turn number 4, battling for the second spot. And you see on your screen there, Larson in the 5th spot. That is actually Ethan Mitchell running under the name Owen Larson here tonight. Not sure what happened to Ethan Mitchell's regular account, but that is Ethan Mitchell, not Owen Larson tonight, as C. Bell makes a move to the inside of Austin Selman, moves him up out of the groove. Actually, that was Selman getting to the side of Bell right there versus the second spot, and my goodness, Selman not messing around here, throwing it down into the corner, nearly running into the side of C. Bell there. Yeah, and he's got Blade Kearns behind him. Semmelman does, as that's the battle for the transfer spot with Kearns on the inside and Semmelman running through the middle and kind of utilizing that diamond line pattern we see so much in turns 3 and 4 at Kokomo, but for now Semmelman will hold on to third. Behind Kearns is the 61M car of Steven Schnapp, one of the regulars at the Tri-State Speedway in Indiana. Nearly won. I can't remember if it was a sprint week race or if it was a sprint week race that Steven Schnapp ended up second behind Kyle Cummins, but had a fantastic run that night. Currently in 5th, 2 spots out of a transfer. The race for second, still a good one right now, Dylan. Yeah, Semmelman's gotten that thing wound up in the outside groove. He's running a little bit higher than everybody as he sails it into the cushion in turn number 1. So starting to get cleaned off a little bit. He's keeping pace with Bell. That's all we can ask for right now, as this is a good battle for the 3rd spot, and here comes Blade Kearns to make it a 3-man race. Brock Landers to the inside of Selman. He's going to have the 3rd spot. That Selman on the top side going to have a big run down the backstretch. That battle not quite over yet. They're coming around for the white flag this time by. Who's going to have the final transfer? Semmelman's got at the white flag here, Dylan. And the bottom maybe just a tick better still. Semmelman going to sell out here. He is ripping the top off. Turn number 2, contact into 3. Here they come off of turn number 4. Blade Kearns gets into him and turns himself around. And Semmelman will coast across the line there. And Brock Landers there went for broke and tried to get into the back of the 60 car of Austin Selman there and kind of messed himself up there, Dylan. But I applaud his efforts there. Man, that was a heck of a battle there, and Blade threw the kitchen sink at him for sure, trying to make that happen, and just kind of ran out of racetrack, quite frankly. So Semmelman did a good job there, being committed to the top, and it paid off for him off of 2 there on that final lap, and that's all he needed to hold on to 3rd. Yep, Joel Berkeley, the Australian, will get the victory there. Christopher Bell will end up 2nd. Austin Selman in the 3rd spot. 4th was Steven Schnapp, and then 5th was Ethan Mitchell. 6th spot was Justin Thomas. Blade Kearns ended up in 7th. Sam Johnson 8th, and Jason McDougall actually did not make it out on the racetrack there, so the 69 car will be scored 9th, and he'll be back in the C main event a little bit later on. Heat race number 5 getting gridded up and on the racetrack now. On the pole this one. How about this front row? How about the first 2 rows of this one, Dylan? The 71 of Zeb Wise on the pole, and outside him the 89 of Chris Windham. Row 2 inside the 4 of Robert Dalby, and outside Dalby is the 6 tonight. That's Kyle Larson. And row number 3, Dalton Bishop in the 77, Ronnie Gardner in the 14. Then we have the 50 of Ace McCarthy and the 21 car of Ryan Diotti. Then we have Justin Grant and Shane Meal rounding out the field. This has got to be the most star-studded lineup we've had so far.
The real deal coming from the back of the field. I'm excited to watch Zeb here on the pole. He's been really, really fast in practice throughout this week. Excited to watch him, and we'll see if Chris Windham can hang with him. He had a nice wheelie there earlier in practice that he posted on Twitter, so he's going to have to keep the front wheels down to keep up with Zebby here.
Which is definitely a tough thing to do here on iRacing at Kokomo. They're almost 3 wide for the race lead. How about the Panda Express car, Robert Dalby on the bottom of the racetrack? He about takes the race lead. He might have it off turn number 4, Dylan. Robert Dalby in the 4 car going for the race lead, but Windham hanging tough on the outside. Now Wise back into the mix.
Yeah, you can see it start to get a little slick down on the bottom, so these guys have moved up to the middle as the top 2 make contact. Windham and Dalby banging wheels down the backstretch. That'll shuffle Dalby out of the mix. Meanwhile, we're 3 wide for the lead. There's Larson to the top side.
Larson in the Lucas Oil Products number 6 car on the outside. He'll take the race lead down the back straightaway. Larson making some moves on the top side as Windham and Wise keep it down on the bottom. Those are your top 3 for now. 4th still belongs to, it looks like, Dalton Bishop and Robert Dalby side by side with him.
And the bottom is just slick enough now that Larson's able to go up there and run some consistent laps as Windham shows him a nose. Wise now to his inside as they race for that 2nd spot back into turn number 1. Dalton Bishop as well feeling racy. He's 1 spot out looking in.
Bishop looks to the inside of Windham, tries to look for the slide job. He'll clear it down into the corner. Windham back down to the inside. Retakes the 3rd spot. We're only halfway through this one. Still a lot of racing left to go. Bishop now to the inside of Zeb Wise for 2nd.
And how about our fellow announcer here, Chase? Dalton Bishop announces at Montpelier and Gas City. He just threw a slider on Wise for the 2nd spot, trying to track down Kyle Larson for the lead here in this heat race.
Dalton Bishop in the Indy Racing Images number 77 car. Throws another one at Zeb Wise. Wise able to get back to the inside. Now Bishop to the outside. Gets a little bit sideways there and is going to get crossed up and kind of lose some ground to Zeb Wise, but maintaining the final transfer spot for now. It's Windham 4th and Ryan Diotti in 5th as Windham tracks back down that number 77 car of Dalton Bishop here.
And Windham again, not trying to throw any Hail Mary sliders, just kind of moving around the racetrack. Now he throws a bomb at Bishop. He'll take the 3rd spot. Dalton crosses him back over, tries to bring Ryan Diotti with him.
Yeah, Diotti's now back into the mix. A 3 making a 4-car battle for that transfer spot as Robert Dalby's right there as well in the Panda Express number 4 car. As Windham now gets into the back of Bishop, he's going to lose some ground as Kyle Larson is coming around turn number 4. Wise to his inside, but Larson will get the win in heat race number 5 here tonight. Zeb Wise in 2nd, and Dalton Bishop with the run of his life right there ends up in 3rd, the final transfer over Ryan Diotti, Chris Windham, Robert Dalby, Ace McCarthy, Justin Grant, Ronnie Gardner, and Shane Meal. And as we can see here, Dylan, this racetrack is starting to get racy here.
And this is exactly what we talked about, right? It's hard in heat race number 1 because the track is, for all intents and purposes, has just been farmed, so it's as fresh as it's going to be. But as more and more guys work around this racetrack, run the bottom, it's going to naturally slick off like it does at real Kokomo. And that's what we want to see. These later heat races here, you can move around. We saw Larson go up there and run the top, and I think it's there now. So if there's some guys that are committed, they got to be in the gas, but they can make it work.
Yeah, here we go. Heat race number 6, the final heat race of the night. And on the pole, this one, Dylan, this is my pick to possibly win this thing, but definitely run in the top 3 tonight. The 28 car, actually, he's the number 8, it looks like. Sorry, the number 9 for the tops up here, but quality threads, guys. That's Dason Persley out of Locust Grove, Oklahoma. Outside him, the Australian midget champion, Caden Brown in the 97. Row 2 inside the 11 of Cole Newhofen. And outside him, the 98 car, James Tiernan. That's 2 of the sim racing pro drivers right there on row number 2. Row 3 inside, the 39 of Michael Facino, the former Western State midget champion. And then Aiden Purdue to his outside. Row number 4 looks like it's going to be the 57 car of Anthony LaPresto. And Chase Briscoe will round out the field in the 8th starting spot. So old buddy boy Briscoe's got to get on the wheel here if he wants to make a transfer with Dylan, as we're coming around to the green flag this time by.
Yeah, it'd be fun to watch Briscoe come from the back here and see what he can do as Dason Persley's going to lead us down the hill off turn 4 and under the green flag.
Good start for Persley as he gets in front of Caden Brown down in the corner. Big slider coming in from Cole Newhofen. Newhofen not wasting any time. He nearly took the race lead there. He does get by for 2nd. Now he's going to work off the top side of the racetrack, and Caden Brown gets back by for P2.
And James Tiernan behind him in that 4th spot as we've got a scrum back in the pack up for 2nd. Newhofen slid up across the nose of Caden Brown, and they made slight contact, and Newhofen finally clears him for 2nd, all 4.
And now Tiernan, the number 9 car, looking down to the inside. He's running the tires still. There's still some grip down there. Tiernan momentarily gets up to the second spot as he's side by side with Newhoffen. And that's one of the cool things here at Kokomo. You could have a guy way on the bottom of the racetrack, Dylan. You could have a guy like, 40 feet across the racetrack, way up on the top. And if you're looking out the right side, you probably can't even see that guy half the time.
Yeah, the tires are way down tonight. They're almost in the infield grass. Sometimes they're not down that low, so it's really shortening up the distance if you do run the bottom. A good battle here for this third spot. 3 or 4 cars involved in the mix here. Cole Newhoffen has the third spot for now as James Tiernan slides across the middle to take the second spot.
And that gives a run now to the number 97 car of Caden Brown. He's back into the mix as he pulls up to the back bumper of James Tiernan, trying to make it a 3-car battle for P2 as Dason Persley's pulled away with the race lead. Oh, Tiernan tried the slide job, couldn't get there in time. Now look at, here comes Brown. A big move down to the inside. Dylan trying to go for second. He nearly spins out. He's going through the infield, and that's going to cost Brown big time there.
Yeah, he threw a bomb, and it just got too sideways on him, and it cost him. So he's going to try to get back on the horse here and track these guys down, but he's got his hands full now with Aiden Purdue as they race for the 4th spot, and there goes Brown into the wall and upside down in 2.
Yeah, he gets tagged by Trace Briscoe as he goes by trying to avoid the accident. Now Briscoe tags the wall in turn number 3, sets it back down and gathers it back in. It's all Dason Persley up front. He's coming around turns 3 and 4 this time by to see the white flag followed by Cole Newhoffen and James Tiernan in the third as Aiden Purdue's trying to put up a last lap move here to maybe get by Tiernan for the final transfer spot. He's pretty close to make a slide job happen here, Dylan.
Top 4 all around the top side. We'll see what Purdue can do here. Not close enough this time to make a move, so it's going to be James Tiernan holding on to third.
Yep, Persley will come home with the final heat race victory here in heat race number 6. Cole Newhoffen ends up second, Tiernan third. Purdue will end up in the 4th spot, then Anthony Lepresto, Chase Briscoe. Then it looks like behind Briscoe should be, looks like, there we go, race results. There we go. Now we got to pop it up on my screen here, possibly. Having a little bit of scoring problems there. Caden Brown 7th, Michael Facino, and don't mind me down there in the 9th spot. I accidentally joined the server a little bit earlier there, Dylan. But C-Main event getting ready to get gridded up here, and we've got some big names in this C-Main, so it just goes to show how tough the field is here tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Of course, cars advancing from the C-Main will move on to the B-Main and then on to tonight's feature. But the front row, even when you check it out here, Spencer Baston on the pole. So there are some heavy hitters, as you mentioned, Chase, that have some work to do, and it's going to be a long night for them here to try and advance all the way through and run the alphabet soup.
Definitely, as Dylan mentioned there, the C-Main will be led to green by the 97 car of Spencer Baston. Outside him is the 23 car of Bryce Dews. Row number 2 is going to be the 12 car of Blade Kearns, and on the outside of him, it's the 50 of Ace McCarthy. Row 3, the 97 car of Caden Brown, and outside him, that's his teammate from the Chili Bowl Nationals earlier this year. That's Ryan Bernal. Row number 4 on the inside, it's the 06 car Rylan Gray, and on the outside of him is the 55 car of Thomas Meserol. Row 5, 72 car Sam Johnson, and outside Johnson should be the 52 tonight. That's Justin Grant. Behind those guys, the 39 of Michael Facino, the 7 of Tyler Courtney, Mario Klauser, David Heileman, Jason McDougal, Ronnie Gardner, and that should be your field. And we've got some heavy hitters coming from the back of the field here, just taking 3 to the B-Main event here, Dylan.
Yeah, going to be fun to watch this, guys. Almost like another heat race, but if you don't finish in the top 3 here, your night's over. So Baston on the gas, he leads us under the green flag, and we're racing in the C-Main.
Man, these guys are fanning out almost 4 wide down into the corner. Here we go down into turns 3 and 4. Your leader is going to be Bryce Dews off the top of the racetrack with Caden Brown looking to his inside. 4 wide down to turn 1, Dylan. Oh boy, they're going to wreck it big down there. Yeah,
Bryce Dews, the leader, over-rotated and clipped the wall and flipped, and a big pile up there in turns number 1 and 2.
And I made a slight mistake saying somebody's name wrong tonight. Mitchell Facinto actually driving under Michael Facinto's name tonight, so they got us a little mixed up. I think they were mixed up in the World of Outlaws races earlier this week as well. So Michael Facinto, actually Mitchell Facinto behind the wheel tonight, as your leader currently is Rylan Gray, doing a fantastic job up in the gray auto number 06 car. Caden Brown second, Spencer Baston third, and Ryan Bernal trying to put on the show to get up here in the top 3.
Yeah, Baston started on the pole trying to march his way back forward after that little bit of a scrum there in the opening laps. He's challenging that second spot, and that's Caden Brown who holds on to that position now. But Bernal is coming. He's been strong in the outside groove and trying to make something happen here as he looks inside Baston into 1.
And playing it safe right behind those guys is the 50 of Ace McCarthy right down on the inside tires. And it looks like Baston might have had some kind of problem there. I didn't see what happened, but Baston slips out of the picture, and now it's a battle between Bernal and McCarthy.
Yeah, Baston McCarthy got into the wall on the cushion in turn number 2, gave away that final transfer spot, so it does go to Ryan Bernal, and up ahead of him, it looked like we had a battle for the lead change hands there.
We absolutely did. Caden Brown threw a slide job on Rylan Gray, and Gray was able to turn it back down to the inside. Now Brown runs the bottom in turns 1 and 2. He's going to nose ahead, but Rylan Gray with momentum might take the lead back. Nope, Brown will slide him down into the corner. Coming around for 9 laps complete. We've still got 9 to go. A long C-main event here, Dylan.
Yeah, for sure, and lots of things can change, as we've seen already here in the first half. Good battle for the lead as Brown and Rylan Gray continue to go at it. Ryan Bernal has that 3rd and final transfer spot for now. Ace McCarthy is the odd man out here as he runs in that 4th spot. Bernal bangs the wall, nearly upside down. He'll lose the 3rd spot and 2 to McCarthy.
I don't know how Bernal was able to hang on to that race car. He falls back to 4th. He's not out of it quite yet, but now he loses another spot. Here comes the USAC iRacing.com champion, David Heilemann, as McCarthy's into the wall, and that gives Heilemann a little bit of an advantage here as they roll down the back straightaway.
That cushion on the top of 1 and 2, awfully thin, and it's tripped up the 3rd place runner 2 laps in a row, and here is David Heilemann. He wisely goes to the bottom. Should McCarthy have another problem here, and they're side by side for 3rd down the backstretch.
Heilemann in the Wicked Energy Wicked Cushion number 49 car throws a slide job on McCarthy. He takes the 3rd spot. McCarthy going to turn it back down to the inside. Another slider. Oh, who is that upside down? That's Rylan Gray. Your 2nd place car gets upside down, and now McCarthy can breathe a sigh of relief here as he's in a transfer spot.
Yeah, and again, just like we talked about, you just got to put yourself in the right position, the right place at the right time here. And this battle for 3rd now heating up again between McCarthy as they race down into turn number 1. That's McCarthy and David Heilemann there in the outside group as they nearly banged wheels.
Yeah, I'm not sure if McCarthy realizes that he's at a transfer spot with a lot of room behind him. He does not care. He's trying to finish 2nd in this thing. Obviously, every spot counts here, as you could start a little bit farther up in the B-main event tonight, which is going to take the top 6 transfers out of it. McCarthy and Heilemann go to the bottom, actually the middle of the racetrack in 1 and 2, as your race leader is working into lap traffic. Man, Caden Brown is on a rail here in the C-main. He's already put 3 lap cars down.
Yeah, he's gotten away from this battle, and wisely so, but the lap traffic can be just as dicey. It doesn't take just a single mistake when you're running by yourself. The lap cars can be a problem too. So this battle for 2nd's a good one, still heating up as McCarthy slides Heilemann, then bangs the fence off turn 4.
Man, McCarthy needs to take a chill pill right now as he turns the 49 through the infield. McCarthy, I don't think he realizes how many cars transfer out of this thing, or he just doesn't care. He is an absolute wild man here tonight at the virtual Kokomo Speedway, and we know that Ace McCarthy is pretty much a wild man in person as well, as we didn't even realize it, Dylan, but the checkered flag is out, and Caden Brown will get the win, followed by McCarthy and Heilemann. Those 3 drivers will move on to tonight's 22-car B-main event, 24 laps on the board, and 6 cars will transfer out of this thing. This is going to be a wild one right here, Dylan.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, a long C-main and even longer B-main, nearly feature length at some tracks here for this semi. So lots of time if you're at the back to try and pick your way forward, and lots of time if you're up front to make a mistake too. So depends how you rack it, depending on whether or not you like a 24-lap B-main. But again, a lot of cars here that are familiar names that are going to have some work to do to advance to tonight's feature.
I should point out real quick, Mario Klauser, Spencer Basin rounded out the top 5 in the C-main. They will have to try again next week when the series heads off to, well, Dylan, I'm drawing a blank here. I can't remember where we're at. I think we're at Knoxville. Yeah, Knoxville with the sprint car next week. Nice. So that'll be fun next week. Here we go for the B-main. It's going to be Trey Schmidt and Tanner Thorson on the front row. Andrew Laser, Steven Schnapp in row number 2. Then we have Ryan Diotti, Aiden Purdue in row number 3. Vinny Sansone and Kevin Thomas Jr. in the 4th row. Ronnie Werdeman and Ethan Mitchell in row number 5. Chris Wyndham, Anthony Lepresto in the 6th row. Michael Kofoid, Corbin Haslett in row number 7. Rusty Cougar, Justin Thomas in row 8. Robert Dalby, Chase Briscoe, Chase Johnson, and then Caden Brown, Ace McCarthy, David Heilemann coming out of the C-main. I would be surprised and also very excited if one of those guys could run the alphabet soup up here to the features. We're looking for the green flag off turn number 4, Dylan.
And it's Trey Schmidt and Tanner Thorson on the front row, and we are green in our B-main. 24 laps, top 6 to the show as leaders work their way off of turn number 2. Schmidt the leader, Thorson running in that 2nd spot with Andrew Laser on the bottom holding down 3rd.
Yep, Laser on the bottom. The bottom of the racetrack's gotten real slick down there, but the 82 car continues to run it, almost looking for 4 wide down in the corner as Laser and Steven Schnapp, Tanner Thorson, Aiden Purdue, Ronnie Werdeman all going at it down into turn number 3.
Climbing all over the top of each other. Purdue makes contact down the back straightaway and into 3, and they again make contact. Laser the beneficiary of that as he slides into the 4th spot.
This is absolutely out of control, and I love it. We're almost 5 wide down in turns 3 and 4. Look at Chris Wyndham right through the middle of the racetrack. He is now in a transfer spot, but for how long is these guys? They're throwing sliders left, right, upside down, backwards, and forwards. This is unbelievable stuff here in the B main.
And they are right up on the fence. Thorson hiking the left rear in the air that time through 3 and 4. Just ripping the top side here as he works to the outside of Ronnie Werdeman. That time Thorson does bang the wall. Wyndham slides inside of Werdeman to go to 4th.
And Tanner kind of pulled a Logan Sevialenko last year, climbed the wall, brought the car back on the racetrack, and maintains a transfer spot. The top 3 have pulled away as now Thorson gets fed the right rear. He's upside down and collects Chris Wyndham. And I believe that wheel was from, who was that? The white car up there. That looks like Ryan Diotti. Yep, Diotti got into him. But the top 3 guys, I would be very breathing a sigh of relief right now that I got away from that hornet's nest back there.
Yeah, that was quite a battle for sure as these guys continue to duke it out, but it's still Steven Schnapp up front. He is, for all intents and purposes, run away and hid, and probably a good thing because it is a hornet's nest about the 3rd spot on back.
And how about David Heilman from the C main? He was the final starter in this B main, Dylan. He's from 22nd up to the 8th spot, the 49 car, rolling the infield tires here at Kokomo, and he might have a shot at transferring out of this thing to the feature.
Well, look, and that's what we talked about at the very beginning of this, the advantage that the true sim racers have over the guys that just race the cars in real life. It is different. The strategy is different when you run on the sim, and having laps like he does probably is playing into his advantage, and he's just rolling the tires right into a transfer spot right now if he can pick off a couple more.
Yeah, all those drivers on your screen right there in that battle are all actually sim racers. Ryan Diotti, Vinny Sansone, Justin Thomas, David Heilman, and Rusty Kruger. All those guys going at it. Up in front of him is Trey Schmidt, Aiden Purdue, and your race leader is Steven Schnapp, the only real-world driver that runs with USAC, I should say, up there in the top 6 as they continue to go at it for about 3rd and 4th here.
Yeah, good battle here as they work into turn number 3. That's Diotti in that white car on the outside, Vinny Sansone in the middle, and then Rusty Kruger there on the bottom. 3 different lanes of racing. That's why we love running here at Kokomo, because even when the track starts to go away, you've got lots of options, and that oftentimes and usually does prompt some really good racing.
And David Heilman's getting got a mixed or kind of thrown out of the picture here. But you know who's coming into the picture is the winner of the C main, Caden Brown. Now he's up to the 8th spot in the number 97 car. He's gotten by David Heilman. Oh, Brown kind of gets into the infield right there. He wheelies down the front stretch, and Heilman gets back by him.
So 2 of our guys from the C main that started shotgun on this field are now racing for a transfer spot. Just a handful of laps or so, about 15 into this race, and about 9 to go now as they work back into turn number 1. So time is starting to run out, but these guys from the C main are in a good spot here.
Yep, Heilman pulls up to the back bumper now of Rusty Kruger. Heilman a little bit sideways right there in turns 3 and 4, lose some ground. The guy that they need to get by is the black car on the bottom of the racetrack, the 5K of Rusty Kruger. Now Kruger's challenged on the outside by the 36 car of Justin Thomas. Thomas on the outside. The Illinois driver has got the 6th spot now.
Yeah, he rips right through the middle, does so again in turns 1 and 2. Oh, big wheelie there for Thomas, but sets it back down. He holds on to the 6th spot now as Kruger is trying to get that thing wound up in the outside groove and race his way back into the show.
Yep, Kruger on the wheel here, trying to get by the 36 of Thomas. Now insert the 49 of David Heilman into the picture as well. A 3-car battle for the final transfer spot. This time by, they'll come down the line and see 4 laps to go from the iRacing starter stand here at Kokomo Speedway. Kruger continuing to hound the back of Justin Thomas as Heilman hits an infield tire right there.
And there is no margin for error in 1 and 2. The cushion is all the way on the fence. You've got to be perfect and precise. So there's a car flipped over at the entry to turn number 1 as this 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th battle scatters. But for now, Kruger still holds on to that 7th spot with Justin Thomas, the man on the bubble, in the 6th spot, but he's in the show right now.
He is in the show, and he's probably feeling a little bit nervous as he knows he's got two guys breathing down his neck here. Now Thomas looks for 2 spots off turn 2 to the inside of Vinny Sansone and the 57 car of Ryan Diotti. Thomas is trying to get a little extra breathing room here, and he gets by Vinny Sansone.
And now Sansone will be on the bubble, and Heilemann and Kruger behind him were banging wheels in 1 and 2 and kind of got each other messed up, and that allowed those guys ahead of them running in the 6th, 5th, and 4th spot to escape a little bit as the laps wind down here. Coming to 1 to go, I believe.
Yep, white flag is in the air, and in the transfer spot, the final one is the 80 car of Vinny Sansone. All he's got to do is make it 2 left-hand corners here, and he will be in the show. Heilemann trying to put up a last corner move here, but he's not going to get there in time, and Vinny Sansone will hang on to the final transfer spot. Your winner of the C-Main, it looks like it's going to be the 53 car of Aiden Perdue, followed by the 44 car of Steven Schnapp, and then the 22 car of Trey Schmidt, the 21 of Ryan Diotti, 36 Justin Thomas, and Vinny Sansone will end up in 6th, and the final starter on the field will end up in 7th, 1 spot shy of the feature. That's the 49 car of David Heilemann. Following him was Ronnie Werdeman in 8th, Rusty Kruger 9th, and Caden Brown from 20th up to 10th. So we saw some great racing here, Dylan, and I don't think the iRacing track prep crew, the O'Connors, the virtual O'Connors here, I don't think they plan on doing anything to this deal.
Well, it's pretty good right now, and as we talked about there in that semi, you can run about anywhere you want right now. So if you are going to run the cushion in 1 and 2, it is narrow, and even as I say that, there's guys that are out there hot lapping right now that have come through here and thrown the nose over and banged off the fence. So you got to be precise, and that's true even of real Kokomo, but especially right now, it's a little bit wider in 3 and 4, and you can kind of run that diamond pattern where you enter a little bit higher and then cut down through the middle of the corner. Doesn't always seem to work quite as well in 1 and 2. So if you're going to enter on the cushion down at that end of the racetrack, you've got to hit your marks every single lap, and that's going to be tough for 40 laps here in this feature. So it's going to have some comers and goers, I believe, over the course of this one.
Absolutely, and remember, here in this 40-lap feature, we will have caution flags for the first time all night, and those caution laps will count. That's why you see kind of a higher lap count here, 40 laps, just in case we do get some cautions here. And we will have 5 green-white checker finishes to end this thing. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back with tonight's feature lineup. So don't go anywhere here on the iRacing Esports Network and FlowRacing.com. The 40-lap feature for the AMSOIL USAC iRacing Challenge presented by NOS Energy Drink will return here in just a few moments.
Your bearings shoulder the burden whenever you tow, haul, or stomp the gas. AMSOIL delivers powerful protection for bearings and other critical components so you can drive with confidence. To demonstrate, an independent lab put AMSOIL synthetic motor oil head-to-head against a leading competitor in a 100,000-mile test. AMSOIL provided far superior wear protection and kept engine bearings looking like new. Get your truck the protection it deserves at amsoil.com/engine.
Human horsepower, NOS energy drink, high performance energy.
Up at sunrise. Farming is a way of life. It always allows you to appreciate what the good Lord gave us. It's not easy, but it's our way of life. This is a tradition that never gets old, and we don't break tradition. That's why we always buy our trucks from Eddie Gilstrap, generations prior and generations to come.
Where the cushion is very thin.
Live and on-demand coverage of the sport we all love.
Sapphire, America's first seductive handcrafted spirit.
Oh, so smooth. Seductively smooth.
The perfect gift.
It's the USAC AMSOIL iRacing Challenge presented by NOS Energy Drink. The top 25 in USAC iRacing League points versus USAC's best midget sprint car and Silver Crown stars. Tyler Courtney, Chris Wyndham, Christopher Bell, Logan Seavey, and more. Don't miss these epic events. April 2nd, 9th, 16th, and 23rd. Watch it live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Flow Racing.
We're back here at the virtual Kokomo Speedway for round number 1 of the AMSOIL USAC iRacing Challenge presented by NOS Energy Drink. It's feature time here at Kokomo, and we are ready. This track is dialed in for this 40-lap main event. And Dylan Welch, I cannot wait to get going here. We've got a mixed bag of iRacing guys, got a mixed bag of real-life guys. I think we're in for a fantastic show here.
There is nothing like feature time at the Kokomo Speedway, whether it's the real Kokomo or virtual Kokomo here on iRacing. It doesn't get much better than the Kokomo Speedway, and I am pumped. It's been a great night of racing so far. The track is in perfect shape, as we've come to expect from every race here at Kokomo, and we're going to have one heck of a show here.
Absolutely, and tonight, $500 to win the feature, $300 for second, and $100 for third. Keep that in mind, and want to make a quick announcement. Tomorrow, USAC planning on announcing another big race here on iRacing.com with what sounds like a pretty solid purse, so be tuned into USAC's social media challenge tomorrow for another announcement about a USAC race on iRacing.com. Here's the starting lineup. For tonight's feature, it's Brendan Rodgers and Chase Cabret on the front row on the inside of row number 2. It's the 12 of Alex Bergeron, and outside of Bergeron, it's the Australian Joel Berkeley. Row 3 inside, it's Young Money Kyle Larson, and alongside him, the young gun from Locust Grove, Oklahoma, it's the 28 of Dason Persley. Row 4 on the inside, 24 car of Carter Sarf, and outside Sarf is the 41 of Logan Rumsey. Row 5, 74 Adam Elby, and outside Elby, it's the 16 car of Christopher Bell. Row 6, 71 Zeb Wise, and outside Wise is the 11 of Cole Newhalfen. Row 7, the 08 car, Cannon McIntosh, and on the outside of him, the 19 car, that's the former national midget champion, Logan Seavey. Row number 8, 37 car, Anton Hernandez, and the 60 of Austin Selman will start out to his outside. Row 9, the 77 of Dalton Bishop, and the 98 car, James Tiernan. And from the B main, it's going to be Aiden Perdue, Steven Schnapp, Trey Schmidt, Ryan Diotti, Justin Thomas, and Vinny Sansone. Here we go, going green. 40 laps on the board. We're green here, round number 1 of the iRacing Challenge here for USAC, Dylan.
And Brennan Rodgers from the pole gets a nice jump. He'll lead down the backstretch. Chase Cabry there in that second position as they work through the middle of 3 and 4. It's going to be Brennan Rodgers leading lap 1 at Kokomo.
And I'm telling you, Rodgers got a chip on his shoulder here tonight, Dylan. He was leading one of the USAC Pro Series here on iRacing, one of the races at Kokomo. He led it and got into the wall and upside down that night. He is looking for redemption here at the Kokomo Speedway. Right now, he leads lap 3, and in front of, it looks like Chase Cabret in the 12 car. Alex Bergeron, who's on the bottom of the racetrack, pulls up next to Rodgers here.
Yeah, on the bottom isn't doing it quite justice. Chase Bergeron is trimming the grass with the left front. It is hiked in the air, but he is just about inside the tires on entry to turn number 1, battling Brennan Rodgers for the lead off 2.
And we've seen those tires strike Bergeron before in a pro race at the Fairbury American Legion Speedway. He hit a tire while leading the race and spun out, so Bergeron will try and take it easy down there and not hit one of those tires. He takes the race lead away as the first caution of the night comes out, and we've got a bunch of guys all over the place in turn number 3. One of them is Christopher Bell. Bell gets some kind of problem here, gets together with the 11 of Cole Newhalfen, it looks like, and the 16 of Bell. Actually, he's going to get into Dason Persley, who spun out, and Bell, I believe he'll be able to keep on going, but Persley spun out right in front of him, and he is going to be at the back of the field here. So Bergeron making some headway here on the bottom, Dylan. I didn't think the bottom was that good, but the 12 car, as I mentioned earlier on, one of the best drivers on the dirt stuff here on the simulation, and he's showing why.
Yeah, he was way down on the bottom and going super slow too. And I'm with you, Chase. I was surprised after what we saw there in the semi, as good as the top was, that somebody can run that slow on the bottom and drive by some guys. But the track is slick. I mean, you can see the slick spot there in the middle is all the way across the middle groove. And even down there on the bottom, there's just a thin strip of moisture that you got to hit perfectly. But if you can hit it perfectly and get it rotated and not spin, it's going to be good because it's that much shorter distance around the racetrack. So Bergeron making it work right now. And as we get set to come back to the green here on lap number 9, Brendan Rodgers, we'll see if he's adjusted anything and see if he's got anything for Bergeron.
Yeah, Bergeron on the gas. Here we go. Still a lot of laps to go. Over 30 to go as Chase Cabray makes a move to the inside of Brendan Rodgers for P2. Behind those guys, it's Joel Berkeley and Adam Elby. So look at all the sim guys at the front of the field in this one. The only guy that's kind of the oddball here is Chase Cabray, who does race in real life and on the sim. So Cabray, one of the few real-life drivers up here in the top 5.
Yeah, and look at all these guys all over the racetrack just trying to keep up with Bergeron, who is just low and slow right around the bottom, getting it pointed straight off the exit of turn number 4. We got another yellow, but Bergeron, again, looking good.
Yeah, it looks like this one will involve Logan Seavey, who gets collected with, let's see here, looks like the 71 car of Zeb Wise. Wise was kind of coming down the track there, and Seavey was right underneath of him, and he gets turned around to bring out the caution here on lap number 10. So we'll get them all lined back up here. I think Seavey's not happy with Zeb Wise as he pulls up next to him here under caution and runs into the side of him. Well, obviously this ain't real life, so nothing too harmful there.
Yeah, Spridge is going to have a money penalty and a points penalty after that kind of contact, I'm sure.
Yeah, we can't be having that, boys. So Alex Bergeron is the race leader, followed by Brendan Rodgers, Chase Cabray, Adam Elby, and Joel Berkeley, the top 5. James Tiernan, Carter Sarf is in 7th. Logan Rumsey, Cole Newhoffen, and Anton Hernandez rounds out the top 10 here. So it looks like we're going to go green, I believe, not this time, but the next time by. And, well, so far, kind of a couple cautions, but luckily we put 40 laps on the boards here to hopefully get these guys some green flag laps in. And, with how fast this track changes, I wouldn't be surprised to see the bottom of the racetrack go away here pretty soon, Dylan, as the lights are out.
Yeah, there's not much left down there, so keep your eye on Bergeron. If he starts to move up, that would probably indicate that the bottom has completely gone away, and that may play into the hands of the guys behind him.
Here we go. Green flag back in the air here at Kokomo. Great start for Rodgers as he's going to try and run the middle of the racetrack right there down in 1 and 2. But Bergeron, it looks like Rodgers got some speed up there, Dylan.
Yeah, you can see Bergeron kind of hung in the slick there on entry of 1 and again on 3, and Rodgers has got the momentum wound up in this 20 car in the middle groove. He's able to carry a little bit more speed from the entry to the center of the corner. That's allowing him to keep pace with Bergeron. They're side by side for the lead again in 4.
Coming around for lap number 17, still a lot of laps to go. Rodgers on the top side, now to the middle of the racetrack in 1 and 2, pulls up alongside the 12 of Bergeron as Bergeron's struggling to try and get that car to come around. You can tell, Dylan, that he's got the wheel cranked left. That car's really tight down there.
Yeah, and it's got to be to run as low as he's running, but if he moves too much lower, he's going to be in the infield tires, and he'll have another restart to survive here as the yellow comes out again. Yeah,
let's see who that one was for, as I did see a car upside down. Trying to scroll back here in my replay to find out who was the driver that had issues there. And I think that our boy Hugo Louis is getting the replay pulled up here. And it looks like possibly the 9 car, James Tiernan, right there on your screen, might be the cause of this caution. He goes down into turn number 1 right here. There's that tire right there and just plops it right over and gets tagged by another driver, Dylan.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes, too, to avoid these guys when you're in a pack like this. There's not much room to negotiate, and hard to get these things slowed down, too, obviously. So can't just stab the brake and stop. So tough situation there for those guys.
And we didn't even realize it, Dylan, but Rodgers was the leader when the caution came out, so Brendan Rodgers will take the lead back here after starting on the pole, and Alex Bergeron leading about the first, 16, 17 laps. Rodgers on the outside has the race lead over Bergeron, Elby, Cabray, and Berkeley. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see if maybe Rodgers tries to go to the bottom here and tries to change up his line here, his strategy. We'll see what happens. So the pace car is off, and Brendan Rodgers is going to be interested to see what his strategy is here as we go back green, and green lights are back on. We're back underway.
Bergeron going to try the slider across the nose of Rodgers. Didn't get it done. Brennan back in the gas in the outside groove. He'll hold on to the lead. And now you see Bergeron. He's moved off the bottom, trying to keep pace with Rodgers. Adam Elby behind him in that 3rd spot, looking for a way around.
Yeah, now Chase Cabrera to the inside of Adam Elby. Actually, two teammates right there in the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series here on iRacing.com for Swindell Speed Lab. So Elby and Cabrera trying to fight their way to the front of the field. Here comes a big move out of Chase Cabrera. He drives to the infield and takes second for a moment, Dylan.
That was a slider. He came all the way from the top of turn 4, bounced across the infield of turn 1, tried to go for the twofer. Those guys crossed him back over, so he passed 2 cars, but didn't change positions over the course of that lap. Cabrera running in that 4th spot still.
And Adam Elby now moves into the 2nd spot. He got by Alex Bergeron, and you can see the 74 and the 12 car both on the concrete now as Rodgers continues to run it through the middle of the racetrack. Big slide job for 2nd. There goes Alex Bergeron in front of Adam Elby. Elby back down to the inside at turn number 3.
And that's the hard part, too, about racing here at Kokomo. When the track gets big and wide like this, you got lots of room to cross these guys over. It's hard to complete a slider and make it stick. Bergeron does it here as he holds on to the 2nd spot. Elby trying to claw his way back as he runs in that 3rd spot.
Caution comes out. It looks like possibly some trouble with Christopher Bell. I saw him kind of off the pace here as we will look back and see what happened. Actually, I think Bell was just trying to miss an accident that happened up in front of him here with, it looks like, the 22 car of Trey Schmidt, as Schmidt drove it down into the corner, tried a slide job there, Dylan, and didn't realize that Dason Persley was out there and got into the side of him there.
Yeah, and again, kind of like we talked about it's hard when it's so wide like this because guys can just be running all the way around the top side and you think you have them cleared and all of a sudden they get a big shot of momentum from the center of the corner off and all of a sudden you're on top of somebody. So tough here too in the sim because you don't have the ability to just look over your right shoulder or look out the right side of the car like you do in real life to make sure you're clear of a guy. You just kind of have to trust your gut, and sometimes it's wrong.
Well, some of these guys, you know, Dylan, they run the virtual reality goggles and they can kind of see a little bit more in the cockpit of the car. I know that a lot of the really good drivers on here, they do run that VR stuff, but, you know, for a casual guy like me, I've got one computer screen that I run. So maybe some of these guys, I think Rodgers and Bergeron, those are two guys that actually do run the VR stuff. So maybe that's the key to success here is they're up front in this one. The green flag's back in the air. 10 laps to go here from Kokomo.
Yeah, laps already winding down here, and Rodgers tries to defend to the bottom groove, but here comes Bergeron, tried a little short slider on himself to show Rodgers the nose. Brennan now moves to the middle. Bergeron going to try and get wound up on the cushion.
Yeah, Bergeron nearly tags the wall down the front straightaway right there as Brennan Rodgers continues to run the middle of the racetrack, and Bergeron running the absolute wall here. One mistake and that 12 car is going to be absolutely on the lid here, and a yard sale of a car as he got a car around right in front of your race leaders, and Bergeron looks for a big slider down into the corner. Dylan, Rodgers back around on the outside.
And he may have had to check up there for that lap car. Wasn't sure where the lap car was going to go, but he had him cleared, then picked the front tires up and lost the lead again to Rodgers. So he's got Brennan up in the seat as we come around to 5 to go this time. Going to come down to the wire here. Bergeron trying to get wound up again as now Rodgers goes back up top, and we're going to have another restart.
We've got a car flipping wildly in turn 2. It is Anton Hernandez, who was having a good run up inside the top 10. Just tagged the wall with the right rear tire and gets tagged by somebody else, does a couple barrel rolls and ended up on his side. So Anton was up from 15th to 10th there, so he was having a solid run. Best real-world driver besides Chase Cabrera is actually Carter Sarf in the 5th position. Zeb Wise up to 8th now. Dason Persley's 9th, and Cannon McIntosh 10th. But so far, it's the sim guys really put it on him here tonight, Dylan.
Well, and again, we've talked about this a lot tonight, but I don't think we can emphasize it enough. There is so much to be said for the guys with laps that have laps on the sim compared to laps in real life, because there are differences and there are nuances of racing on the sim that would lend themselves to the sim guys having an advantage just based on the laps that they've run here. So hard for the real world guys to jump in here and be competitive with these guys who they race as much on the sim as the real world guys do in real life. So they're going up against the best here, and it's showing because the sim guys have been the class of the field tonight.
Absolutely. Well, the lights are out, and we're going to have a green, looks like possibly a green-white checkered finish to end this one. The green lights are back on. We head back into turn number 1. Rodgers is going to actually slide himself down into the corner. The 12 of Bergeron actually follows him right there. Next time by, not this time by, but the next time by with the white flag.
And Rodgers now all the way up to the cushion, as is Bergeron, as they race down the front straightaway. Rodgers kind of sliding across the middle. Now we got a big bomb for that 2nd spot. Bergeron will lose it to Cabrera. They're battling for that 2nd spot as Rodgers sees the white flag, all 4.
One more time around. Can Rodgers hold up to the pressure? His contact for second. Look at Cabry to the inside. Big move to the inside. Not able to get by Rodgers. And Rodgers will drive away into turns 3 and 4 to the checkered flag. Your winner will be Brendan Rodgers here tonight of Kokomo Speedway. Second at the line. They will wreck across the start-finish line. And it will be Alex Bergeron second. And Chase Cabray will end up in the 3rd spot, followed by Joel Berkeley and Adam Elby. Some no-holds-bar sliders there at the end of that one right there, Dylan.
Man, Cabry is throwing him from the parking lot, so to speak. He has put some big bombs on those guys, trying to make his way to the front, but ultimately not going to be enough. Brendan Rodgers is headed to BC parked at Victory Lane.
Absolutely is, and $500 in his back pocket. Alex Bergeron second gets $300, and Chase Cabray will end up with $100. So a great run for those 3 guys. Joel Berkeley's 4th, Adam Elby in the 5th spot, Carter Sarf, Logan Rumsey, Dason Persley, and then Cole Newhoff and Seb Wise will round out the top 10 in this one, followed by Aiden Purdue, Cannon McIntosh, Austin Semmelman, Ryan Diotti, Steven Schnapp, Dalton Bishop, Vinny Sansone, Justin Thomas, James Tiernan, Anton Hernandez, Trey Schmidt, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and Logan Seavey rounding out the 24-car field in this race here tonight. So I would say tonight, pretty successful. A few more cautions than I think we were hoping for, Dylan, but we saw some fantastic racing early on in the night, and great finish there for second, for sure.
Yeah, and that's to be expected, right? It's the first of 4 races here for these guys, so a lot of them, this is their first race on iRacing. So some kinks and bugs to work out for the guys behind the wheel, but great night of racing, no doubt, from start to finish. Exciting feature. The track was awesome, and lots of options for these guys, and we saw a great finish.
Absolutely, and next week we're going to do it all over again at Knoxville, but behind the wheel, these drivers will be behind the wheel of the non-wing 410 sprint car like you'll see in real life with the USAC National Sprint Car Series. And we're going to try and get some of these guys in here for an interview. And looks like we already have our winner of tonight's 40-lap feature event, Brendan Rodgers. Brendan, you got the job done, man. I was talking about on the broadcast, you know, you were leading the Pro Series race here at Kokomo Speedway a couple months back, and you ended up hitting the wall and getting upside down. Is this kind of some kind of redemption here, or is this something completely different? I mean, $500 and beating in a spectacular field, you've got to be more than happy.
Yeah, you guys got a copy?
Yeah, we got you. We got you, Brendan.
Yeah, man. Yeah, redemption's one word to put it. You know, I knew early I had to put it up high. I knew I couldn't walk the bottom too long. I should have probably went low off the bat. But, man, I about broke my hand slapping the desk right there, knocked the mic off the table. I might have to buy some new stuff with that $500. But, nah, man, that was wild. You know, I can't say enough about the Tub guys. They've really supported me and made this happen for me. And you know, all my buddies that cheer me on and root me on. My dad's downstairs probably screaming right now. So, you know, this is one of those things, man. If you're a sim racer like me, you know, I don't get to race much anymore in real life. And to be able to race with the real guys, like not just some guys, but the real guys, it blows my mind, you know, and to win is another thing. So.
And I think one of the cool things about you winning this race is, you know, obviously you're one of the iRacing guys, this and that, but you also are an employee for USAC, working for FlowRacing.com. You're a camera guy. You're one of the stream operators here on the West Coast, and you actually ran a USAC Western State Midget race last year. So kind of some cool, you know, facts there for you.
Yeah, you know, we get to try our hand at just about everything in the sport, and that's kind of, you know, I'm not the best at anything, but I get to try it all, I guess. So, no, it's cool to get to be around it, and with Flow coming in the sport and USAC making the strides they have, you know, it's cool to just be a part of it. Like you are, like Dylan is, like everyone, you know, that gets to put their hand in it. You see how far this stuff has come in the last 5 or 10 years. I mean, it blows my mind. Like little old Loud Pedal, you know, a few years ago, and started from that, and where the West Coast has come, and you know, where I get to play with that is, you know, it means a lot to me to just be able to shoot races, or just to be able to sim race, or just to do any of this stuff means a lot. So to do it all is incredible to me.
Well, a fantastic job here. Are we going to see you next week at Knoxville for the sprint car portion?
Yeah. I mean, someone's got to be the first yellow in the non-wing cars. That was my traditional place. No, you know, I'm excited for that. I'm excited. I think I'm going to have to train some of these real drivers over the week to get dialed in those things. So, you know, that's for the betterment of everyone. So, you know, I think that'll be an interesting show. And I do want to say, Tops Up Here, bud, 20% discount because I won tonight. So go get your Tub merch, 20% off on me. So go enjoy it. Go get some cool gear.
That is awesome stuff right there. And Brendan, I know Tops Up Here, bud, is definitely one of the sponsors. Do you have anybody else you want to thank here tonight for putting you in victory lane?
just you guys, man. You guys putting on this show and Flo getting on board and USAC doing the, honestly, some really cool stuff. I mean, it seems like every sanctioning body's getting in the sim racing, but USAC's doing it in a cool way and really implementing, really getting some sim racers in there and letting the real guys throw their hand in there. And honestly, I was surprised by a lot of these real guys. They hang in there, and some of these video game cars pretty good.
Absolutely. Well, there's Brendan Rodgers, the driver out of Camarillo, California, picking up the win here tonight at Kokomo Speedway. And in second tonight, put up a fantastic fight is the driver number 12 car, Alex Bergeron. Dylan, you got some questions for him here?
Yeah, and Alex, I was just wondering, you were committed to the bottom there early on, and it was so slow around the bottom there. At what point did you realize that the bottom was kind of going away and that you needed to probably move up?
Yeah, well, I seen Brendan right there, right beside me, and the caution came out there and he got the spot in front of me. So we had to settle for second here, but the bottom was very good at the beginning, and I was riding on the bottom, and it was fast, and the bottom went away, and we had to move to the top and the middle, and I tried to go top. As soon as I seen Helby pass me on the top, I went back up there, and it was fast, and just cautions came out, and we couldn't pass him there, but it was a good battle. It was fun, and came close there at the end with Chase.
How cool is it for you guys, for all you sim racers, to be able to go head-to-head with these stars of USAC and in your case, beat a lot of them?
This is incredible. This is a step forward in sim racing. With what's going on in the world right now, this is a great time to do all this, and I think it's pretty awesome to see all these drivers come up and sim race, and to be able to beat them is an achievement.
Are you going to be at Knoxville next week?
I have the spring fling race, to be a Spain race on iRacing on dirt, so I won't be able to race it, but I'll definitely be there after that week. So I hope everybody's gonna have some fun and enjoy the show.
Who do you want to thank tonight? Who are some of the sponsors and guys that made this happen for you?
I'll definitely thank Team ABRE Sports, all the whole crew. Jason Nygaard was on the box tonight helping me out. Rebecca Millette, team manager, and my girlfriend as well. She does an amazing job for this team. My dad for watching, as always, cheering on us. All of our partners, CSI Shocks, Pit Logic app, BK Design, Smart Ring Farm Equipment, and all the fans out there for tuning in. I got a shout out to Tim Clausen, probably watching tonight, and Clausen Marshall Racing. And everybody else tonight, and you guys for broadcasting, USAC Racing for bringing this up with iRacing. It was a pleasure to be here tonight, and I had a lot of fun.
Well, great job on second place.
Thank you.
That's Alex Bergeron, second place finisher. And Chase, I think our other Chase is in the chat now, and he finished third.
He absolutely did. Chase Cabre, Chase Cabry, whatever you want to call him. I know he doesn't care because I asked him at Lenny's at Chili Bowl. He doesn't know which way he wants his last name spelled. Chase, fantastic, or not spelled, but said. But heck of a run for you tonight there, buddy. Man, you went for broke down into the final corner, nearly got second, but a solid third-place run for you.
Yeah, I knew starting up top that it was going to be a little bit, it'd be a struggle at the beginning to try to get in front of Rodgers, and then I kind of got right there in the middle and went to the top. I think I was the first one to go, at least up in the front five, and it allowed LB to get on by me. I made a little bit of mistake, and then from there I had to play some catch up and was able to get back up in the third and threw some haymakers to try to get to second, but just didn't make it stick.
Yeah, you were throwing those sliders from like Indianapolis. I mean, they were some big old sliders there from the very top of four to across the infield, basically in turn one.
Yeah, I had Colton Hardy in my ear just saying slide him. I think that's Colton Hardy's claim to fame, is just telling everybody to slide him. So if he calls the shots, we got to do it.
Man, I thought you were going to get a slowdown penalty for going underneath the tires there a couple times, man. You were way down there throwing those big bombers. That was really fun to watch, man. But fantastic job. I know that you're big into the sim race, and obviously you're a real-life driver in the Arkham Menard series, and you do a lot of micro stuff in real life as well. Pretty cool deal that USAC's putting up here to have the pro sim racers along with the professional drivers in real life, right?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And it kind of plays a part into both people's worlds and allows some of the sim racers to interact with some of the real world racers. So it's definitely pretty cool, and I hope to see it go on for weeks to come. It's awesome what all of iRacing's got going on right now between the stuff on TV that we get to watch and then even this stuff. It's been really cool, and I hope to see it continue to get bigger and bigger.
Absolutely, man. Well, congrats on the third place run. I know you definitely got some sponsors you got to thank here.
Of course, got to thank Swindell Speed Lab. Me and LB put on a pretty good showing for us, and but besides that, I got to thank Bell and K1. They've helped Swindell a lot, and it's awesome to have them on board with our esports stuff.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's Chase Cabre or Cabry, however you want to say it. He ends up P3 tonight. Dylan, that's going to wrap it up for our interviews here tonight, man. A fantastic night of action, head to toe from the qualifying to the heat races to the C, the B, the feature. We saw some great stuff here tonight.
Yeah, don't know if we could have asked for much better on night one here of the USAC iRacing Challenge. And the great news is we get to do it the next 3 weeks as well. Of course, heading to Knoxville, as we've talked about next week with the non-wing sprint cars. But great night of racing here, and looking forward to this continuing here over the next month.
Definitely, and remember, I mentioned it earlier on in the broadcast, tomorrow, USAC, check their social media pages because they will be tweeting another race that they're going to put on here on iRacing.com with a pretty hefty purse. So stay tuned for that, but until then, and until Knoxville next week, we will see you guys here at the virtual track. My name's Chase Rodman for Dylan Welch and Hugo Louis. We'll see you next time. Thank you.